Live to Navika Kumar, Group Editor-in-Chief. Over to you, Navika.
Thanks, Madhav. And joining me this evening is Mr. Praful Patel, Senior Leader of the NCP, Ajit Pawar. And Praful Patel, many congratulations to you. What a stupendous performance in Maharashtra. People were talking about a majority, but this is a tsunami. And the kind of strike rates that all the three alliance partners have got, the BJP close to 90%, the NCP about 70%, the Shiv Sena about 75%. What was the reason for this huge victory margin that the Mahayuti has got?
Well, Navika, let me first congratulate the people of Maharashtra for reposing faith in us because you see, the Lok Sabha elections threw up a very different result, and therefore all this pessimism that, the Mahayuti is finished, three parties cannot function together, the real parties are on the other side, and therefore the factions or so-called factions of these other parties like NCP and Shiv Sena, they cannot, and the BJP is going down, all the kind of narrative which was there during Lok Sabha. I agree that we did not do well in the Lok Sabha. As far as NCP is concerned, let me be very honest. We actually contested 3 seats. In the 4th seat, we just was, nobody wanted it actually. So we said, all right, let's take a chance. Out of the 3 seats, yes, Mr. Ajit Pawar's wife, Sumitra, lost the election. Supriya won. And that was, of course, all credit to them. No issues about winning or losing. But, to come to the conclusion that the NCP is spent force, at least our NCP. Then the other side was that, the entire alliance isn't working. People are not able to connect on the ground. There was a fake narrative during the Lok Sabha. There were 2 major reasons. One was the issue of farmers. The onion prices had crashed, soybean prices had crashed, and the cotton prices had crashed, which unfortunately only crashed this year during the Lok Sabha, whereas in all the preceding 5-7 years, the prices were very good. So there was no reason to complain for the farmers earlier. The second thing which really went against us was the fake narrative. The fake narrative was about, of course, as you all know, in many parts of the country, constitution will be changed or reservation will be, SC, ST reservation will go away. And this kind of narrative obviously is an emotional one. And somehow also the fact was that the 3 parties had not yet gelled on the ground. There was some, obviously new alliances, new partners. There were some kind of, initial hiccups in trying to get all the workers to, work for each other. So this was one part of the story which we corrected, at least in terms of the organizations of all the 3 parties working with each other on the ground. That part we corrected. The second thing, then fake narrative went away because people realized, A, this is a state election, so no question of the constitution. B, in the last 6 months, right from the Prime Minister to many other senior leaders and our parties also in the state, went and told the people that this cannot happen. There is no question of taking away the rights of the SCs, STs or changing the constitution. Nobody can do it. The fundamental character of the constitution, as has been decided by a 13-judge bench of the Supreme Court 40 years ago, has already decided that you can't change it. So, this was actually something which really changed a lot of things on the ground. The second thing was, even for minorities, we as a government did a lot more than even all the previous Congress or NCP governments in the past. So the Muslims, I'm not saying they voted extensively for this alliance, but there was a softening and there was some acceptability that, all right, things are not as bad as being projected. And the third thing which really went in our favor was the 3-4 very, I would say, landmark schemes. The Ladki Bahin, it's been in some other states also. But in Maharashtra, it went like, it really went like the women folk of the state as some scheme which was for their own empowerment. See, it was not just like giving money. It's not like a dole, but they felt more empowered. And 5 months of the installments had reached them, whereas the opposition started on the narrative that, this is not a scheme which is sustainable. And then they said there's no money for it. When 5 installments reach you, you start believing it. And then because they realized that it is such a successful scheme, they went on the offensive and started saying that we will, come with this scheme in a much bigger way. So in a way, you're accepting that this scheme is doing very well. The other thing which happened was the farmers also, prices of onions, and there was lots of correction. Those were aberrations which got corrected automatically. And of course, government also took some preventive measures. And we went and we've done a lot for the farmers. There's Jan Samman Nidhi of the center's 6,000 rupees to every farmer. We add another 6,000 in Maharashtra, so it's 12,000. So that's a positive thing.
So you're saying schemes, you're saying, changing the narrative. I want to ask you, somewhere there seemed to be a little bit of discomfort between the NCP, Ajit Pawar, and the rhetoric of the BJP. The buttenge, cutenge was publicly denounced by Mr. Ajit Pawar, that is not what we believe in. And on the other side, your party fielding Nawab Malik despite the opposition from the BJP. Was everything hunky-dory, or was it a deliberate strategy because of the certain vote base that the Ajit Pawar Shiv Sena has, NCP has?
No, you see, one thing is certain, that we've always, as NCP, we also have certain ethos and a philosophy which we pursue. And there's nothing wrong with every party having a slightly different, approach towards various segments of society. So we were very clear right from the beginning that as far as the ethos of the NCP is the Shiv Shahu Phule Ambedkar in Maharashtra, that is inclusive politics, taking backwards minorities and everybody along. And I don't think, actually, if you really look at it, barring a little aberration here and there, especially there is a little difference in the approach of some leaders of the BJP. I'm not saying the Prime Minister doesn't speak that language. He always talks of Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas, Sabka Prayas. Then Yogi ji came and gave a little, I would say, a divisive speech. And Ajit Pawar clarified very clearly that, we don't subscribe to this. It's not like that we are fighting with each other on that, but we must make our position clear. And as far as Nawab Malik and minority, we had put up 10% of our candidates were Muslims. And Nawab Malik, for all others may say about him, we are very clear that, you're innocent until proven guilty. If Nawab Malik has not been charged as yet, or at least by a court of law, has not been convicted, then where is the question of trying to, distance oneself from him? And he has been a senior leader. He's been with the NCP right from its inception. So simply because there was a problem, we should, completely dissociate with them. I think that was not our approach, and it was very clear. And I don't think, minus that, there has been any kind of a disagreement. I would not even call it a fight. It is just, okay, our view is something and your view is something different. It's only about this one seat. So there is no real issue. If you ask the people of Maharashtra whether the NCP and the BJP could function on the ground, the answer is yes. And that's very evident in the results.
So now, this time around, are we going to have the similar situation of one chief minister and 2 deputy chief ministers? And who's going to be the chief minister is the question every citizen living in Maharashtra wants to know. कौन बनेगा मुख्यमंत्री?
बन जाएगा 2 दिन में, आप खुद ही देख लेंगे. पर इतना मैं कहूंगा कि it's not about the chief minister alone, the issue. The issue is that first, all 3 parties have to elect their own legislative party leaders, which will all be done tomorrow for sure. After that, I'm sure we will all sit across the table and maybe there will be some little intervention from the Bharatiya Janata Party leadership, because at the end of the day, you cannot take the fact away that it is the largest party in the coalition. It was also earlier the largest party. They had 106 MLAs and they had 9 supporting MLAs. So 115 people were on one side. And both of us together were less than the 115. So there's no confusion in our mind that the Bharatiya Janata Party is the largest party and the most important party in the alliance, after all, the anchor. So in a way, we have to first elect our leaders, then sit across the table.
But there is absolutely no suspense. The NCP will elect Ajit Pawar. The Shiv Sena will elect Eknath Shinde. That's a done deal. I want to ask you.
That's a process. You have to do it.
I'm not talking about the process.
How do you give a letter to the governor without electing your leader? How do you stake claim to form a government without electing a leader? So that process will be done tomorrow. I'm agreeing with you, but by tomorrow evening or latest by 25th, because the fact is that the term of the Maharashtra Assembly ends on 26th of this month. So the Chief Minister and at least the 2 deputy chief ministers will be sworn in definitely latest by the 26th. There is no question, and therefore this confusion or this suspense, if at all people want to say, is not going to last too long. But one thing is, you have to acknowledge that without the consent and without the guidance of the Bharatiya Janata Party, see, they are 130 plus. And maybe 131. I think we cannot.
133 the last I saw.
Okay, maybe 133. It's a dynamic, the numbers are keeping on going up for everybody, I would say, including us. So last I saw was 40, now it's 41. So things are dynamic. But apart from that, we have to consider the view of the Bharatiya Janata Party primarily because it is the single largest party, and by a long distance. Both of us combined are less than the Bharatiya Janata Party. So we have to, consider these aspects. Without that, I don't think I can give you an answer, at least while I'm speaking to you just now on television.
Well, Mr. Praful Patel, we've known each other long enough for you to understand what I'm asking. I want to know, Ajit Pawar, Deputy CM, Eknath Shinde, Deputy CM, and this time will it be a BJP Chief Minister? I'm sure some conversations must have taken place. The three of these people along with you were present today at the press conference. So ऐसा तो है नहीं कि आपने सिर्फ हाथ मिलाया, चाय पी और बाहर निकल गए.
Abhi to we are soaking in the victory, my dear. We have not been able to talk about the Chief Minister's position. We already have a Chief Minister as we speak. So till we come to the next round of discussion, which I'm sure will happen. I'm telling you, the suspense in Maharashtra is not going to be very long, unlike last time, because of the very fact that the numbers are very solid. And it's not going to be too long. It will take a couple of maybe a meeting or 2 meetings.
So when is this meeting? When is this meeting with the senior BJP leadership?
As far as we are concerned, I can tell you very candidly that we obviously are not in the race of the chief ministership. So it would be foolish to expect that we become the leader of a coalition which has 2 parties which have more seats than us. So I would be very clear, at least as far as the NCP's position is concerned. Now, as far as Eknath Ji's position is concerned, obviously he's an outgoing chief minister. We fought an election under his leadership. It's not the question of only numbers. Everything matters in politics. You know, the face of the government and the various things which have to be taken into consideration. So given that, I would say it will be a meeting in Mumbai, and maybe a meeting in Delhi, or maybe a senior person like Amit Bhai or somebody will be, guiding this process. At the end of the day, he has consistently been involved in a lot of conversation between all the 3 parties. And I must give him credit that irrespective of, so many things which were being spoken this party will not get seats, our party will not get seats. There were so many things which were being, talked about. I think all that was laid to rest because he was very firm and very decisive. He told us very clearly, you are not in this coalition now just for the heck of it. You are in this coalition as an equal. Not in question in terms of numbers, but when it comes to discussion on the table, you will be treated with equality. You will be given the fullest respect you deserve. And you must also accept the fact that everybody's strengths are different. Sitting MLAs of the BJP, sitting MLAs of Eknath ji, and sitting MLAs of the NCP were all taken into consideration. And I think, considering that, we were expecting about 60 seats. We contested close to 56. And we won 41. And Shinde ji also got about 80 plus something. And he's got 56. So considering all that, the strike rate of Shinde ji and us is exactly the same, around 70%. And at this moment, I would not want to wager between Mr. Shinde and the BJP. And I'm sure, I don't know who the BJP is going to elect as the leader, though I would presume, as somebody in the know in Maharashtra, that the leadership of Devendra Fadnavis was very important to bring this coalition back to power. He was the face. After all, a party which fights almost 148 seats and wins 133. And everywhere, the face of Devendra Fadnavis as the leader of the Bharatiya Janata Party in Maharashtra was evident. There was I don't think there was any confusion in the minds of the people that whether Devendra Fadnavis will be again the leader of the party post-election. So he is definitely in my, and I would say even as a partner, that it would be fair and good for the coalition that if Devendra Fadnavis at least is the leader of the Bharatiya Janata Party in the legislature. Now, whether he becomes a CM or whether he's the deputy CM, that only I can tell you once we come to a final conclusion and after a couple of meetings at least, when we know which way the stand of all the political parties in the coalition are.
Mr. Patel, the other question is EVM still not working. There are battery issues which have created this. That is the Congress's official stand. They are not going to accept the Maharashtra results. What would be your message to Rahul Gandhi tonight?
This is sour grapes, bad losers. You love the Lok Sabha results. You like, when things go right your way, it's fine. And you also laud the Election Commission for removing the DGP during the election. You laud the Election Commission for so many things. But when it doesn't suit you, you challenge the Election Commission, you challenge the EVMs. Now this is like, घिसी पिटी tape हो गई है कि EVM के बजाय ballot होना चाहिए. अब कितने election में these people have fought and won. Why झारखंड में फिर ballot क्यों नहीं चाहिए था? Ballot वहाँ झारखंड में EVM अच्छा था और महाराष्ट्र के EVM खराब है. और बीजेपी को अगर EVM से ही जीतना होता तो झारखंड क्यों हार जाते? वो भी जीत सकते थे. तो ये सब देखिए खट्टे अंगूर हैं. बिल्कुल अपनी खाली बात को कैसे भी, एंड आई टेल यू वन थिंग, लोग इसको बाय नहीं करते हैं. लोग इसको अब मतलब विश्वास नहीं करते हैं. आज इलेक्शन कमीशन अब क्या कर सकता है? इलेक्शन कमीशन की मुझे याद है कि एक कार्रवाई हुई थी कि जिसमें इलेक्शन कमीशन ने ऑफर किया था कि जिन्हों को भी आपको शक है कि ईवीएम ठीक नहीं चलता है या आपके पास कोई सबूत है कि ईवीएम इस प्रकार से टैंपर किया जा सकता है, तो वो आप आके हमें डेमोन्स्ट्रेशन, पब्लिक डेमोन्स्ट्रेशन दीजिए विद द मीडिया अराउंड. इट वाज इन कैमरा. ऐसा नहीं था कि दे वर ट्राइंग टू से कि भाई हमें दिखाओ और हमें नहीं अच्छा लगा तो जो भी हो. इट वाज अ पब्लिक डेमोन्स्ट्रेशन. कोई सामने आया नहीं, किसी ने कोई प्रूव कर नहीं पाए. तो फिर ये सब where does the ये इस बात का कहाँ रुकेगी ये बात? और बार यही ईवीएम खराब है, ईवीएम में घोटाला होता है. तो फिर झारखंड में बीजेपी खुशी से जीत सकती थी अगर घोटाला ही करना होता तो.
Well, a fair point, but where does this leave Sharad Pawar? The results this time around, what do they mean for Sharad Pawar? What do they mean for Uddhav Thackeray? And has it now been proved which is the real NCP, which is the real Shiv Sena?
Listen, again, Navika, you know me. I am, and you know me personally, that I'm the last person to be, pointing fingers or, saying anything about Mr. Pawar. Because at the end of the day, having worked closely with him for 40 years, having had the highest respect for him, and I still do. Politically, yes, I have chosen my line, and I have sided with our part of the NCP, which is now recognized by the EC as the real NCP. So please, let's not say now, NCP Ajit Pawar, we are NCP, period. However, that also, I would say that, we were very keen that Mr. Pawar would have been part of all of us when we had this joining of hands with the, Mahayuti in Maharashtra. And we would have been so happy because at the end of the day, his guidance would have been very useful. But unfortunately, he chose otherwise. Yes, in the Lok Sabha, as I told you, because of various other factors. And, in the seat distribution in the Lok Sabha, unfortunately, there were sitting seats of the BJP and the Shiv Sena. So that left us with seats which otherwise we could have fought and won.
But are the doors still open? Are the doors still open? Can you, since Mr. Sharad Pawar has been saying in all rallies this is his last election, is there a possibility that old families get together just with blessings of Mr. Sharad Pawar?
Well, see, if you can have a wishful thinking, yes, anything is possible. At the moment, I don't want to, talk about this. The reason being very simple is that Mr. Pawar has taken that, I would say, strong line, a line which is very different from what we have been doing in the last 1.5 years. So my point is, let's just keep it at that. I'm sure there will be some realignment of forces. I'm not saying vis-a-vis the BJP. That is for our alliance from our side is here to stay, and we will be very trusted partners of the BJP for many, many years, because we are very clear that we have gone with the agenda of Prime Minister Modi. He has done immense work in the country. People, may have different thoughts and views. Obviously, nobody is perfect and nobody would have 100% support of every section. But largely, the people of India, to be voted in a democracy of 140 crore people for the third time in a row, is no mean achievement. And it's something has to be right on his part. Something has to be right in terms of the approach and the schemes of the government of India, which ensure that people are electing him again. So we are very clear. We are with Prime Minister Modi and the BJP on the agenda of development and doing good for the people of Maharashtra.
So before I let you go, Praful Patel, will we see you joining the Union Cabinet shortly? Last time, of course, a little bit of, a slight blip there in the equation. Are we going to see you in the Union Cabinet sooner than later?
Well, I don't want to talk about my personal role in the Union Cabinet or otherwise. I am in the NCP, as I said, and we are with the BJP on a particular developmental agenda. And I am a senior person in my party. So I have to steer my party along with Ajit Pawar in the right direction. Now, as far as the government formation and ministers and all that is not my prerogative, it is the prerogative of the Prime Minister. So let's not ask me a question about what he would like to do. I'd rather leave it to whatever happens in due course. As I said, I am not working only with that limited agenda to become a minister, which what happened in the past, and I don't want to reiterate that. I am very contented and happy, and if any responsibility comes my way, I am happy to take that too.
Well, on that note, a lot to be read between the lines, but as always, thank you very much. Pleasure speaking with you, Praful Patel. And once again, many congratulations to you and your party for getting the mandate that you have. And clearly, we're going to see a new government in Maharashtra, a much stronger Mahayuti in Maharashtra.
Absolutely, and thank you very much, and thank the people of Maharashtra for having reposed their immense faith and trust in us. Not only us as the Mahayuti, and really grateful to the people because it is not just a victory. I don't think there's been such a spectacular victory in the history of Maharashtra for the last 50 years. Maybe in the good old days when Congress was the lone party, but in my whatever political career of last 35 years, I have never seen this kind of a spectacular victory. So it's
absolutely stupendous mandate. Thank you, Praful Patel. And